back to the podcast. Stephanie and Maggie here from Oh You're Lovely for episode 2. It's so exciting. Episode 2. We made it. This is now a habit. It will become a habit. Our goal is to post at least twice a month, so keep us on top of that. Also, we did start an email address, and I'll talk about it a couple times just because we want to have conversations with you guys as well as with each other on these podcasts. So the email, super easy, podcast@ohyourlovely.com. Just make sure the your is spelled Y-O-U-R-E and not Y-O-U-R. Easy enough. We'll put it in the notes too. So send your questions, topics, all of that fun stuff over to that email address. And at some point, we may just talk about your topics. So thank you for that. Today's topic is the ever elusive, fun to deep dive into, growing an online supportive community. That's the overarching theme. Yay. Yay. So I guess, Maggie, do we want to break it down? We have some notes, just the little touching points, but I think should we talk about our biggest community that we really hone in on and start that off?
How about when we started Oh You're Lovely, we knew right away we'd need to build some kind of community.
Absolutely.
Online, because people our age demographic are living online, you know? So I don't know, from starting there, obviously, Stephanie, the first thing we focused on was
Facebook. So much.
Pretty quickly after we opened, we started a group. I feel like it was real quick, like within the first month or something. I could be wrong.
Was it during our soft launch or our full launch? I can't remember
our
those
full
dates.
Launch. Yeah. Okay. So when we started, we had a real soft launch in July, I think, middle of July.
It was August.
But then was it?
Well, it was in the summer.
Then we officially started in October.
Yes.
Had our big, so probably after the big launch. I'm guessing. But anyways.
It was pretty shortly after that.
So why don't you talk about how we got it going in our intentions in setting the group up the way we did?
So the group itself, when it started, obviously we had a lot of presence on Facebook already. I was doing the Facebook lives, the crafting after bedtimes once a week. So we started advertising it there, that we had opened up the group. I can't remember if we did. I don't think we did any sort of a special or promotion or anything. We just told people, hey, we've got this group. We'd love to have you there.
Posted about it on our main Facebook page. I'm sure we put it in newsletters and
a lot of that stuff. So
but why did we want to start a group?
Well, I feel so this is my opinions of why we started the group. It was really to connect more with customers, as far as, and it's also a way for us to know what people want from us. So in the group, people have a little bit more, I guess, I don't want to say it's privacy, but they feel more comfortable about talking about these things, asking questions, getting feedback from people. So the group was definitely a way to just build that so that we could make sure that we were providing content that people wanted. We could answer questions that maybe we didn't think were going to be a common question for customers, so that we make it easier to understand the product and how to work with it. And it was really, I am both extroverted and introverted, but I really do enjoy spending time with people and getting to know them. So the group was a great way to really start to recognize certain people's names and really be able to know who they are too, and not just a name on a screen kind of situation. So those were the big things for me for the group, was really to connect with people. What about you, Maggie?
Well, obviously those are all the top reasons wanted to do with connect with people, but also, it was such a new supply. It had been on the market for a little while. I still honestly consider what we sell a fairly new supply. And I say that because anywhere I go out, if it's a business group or I'm meeting somebody's parents, they're like, what do you do? And I tell them, and nobody 0 people ever have heard of the product.
I still
So
get
because
everybody thinking I'm
yes.
making stuff as far as bouquets. Yeah.
So let's back up 3.5 years ago when we started.
Hmm.
Like, it was super new, and I think another reason besides what Stephanie mentioned of having the group was we know we needed there was going to be hand holding, like people just
Hmm.
didn't know how to use the product or what the product was or what they could make, and providing a platform for people to share what they've made and newbies to ask questions.
Hmm.
And it's still that way to this
Yeah.
day. We wanted people to share and learn and ask questions and help each other. So yeah.
And we wanted it to be a little bit even more special than other things that we do, as far as like there's certain events that we only do in the group. We really get to show our own personal personalities within the group, so you get to know us a little bit better as well, and just making it a little bit special because you're taking your time to spend over there. So we definitely
Right.
want to say thank you in different ways. So we were doing, at one point, we were doing the Will It Work Wednesdays, where we were trying just random things and popping in randomly and doing lives over there. We've had sales and events that are only for group members, things like that. So it's definitely a little
Yeah.
special corner of the internet for us.
So, and I think we already talked about how we advertised it.
Hmm.
It was just a word of mouth thing when we started. Again, mentioned it on our Facebook page, on Facebook Lives, probably sent out newsletters.
Hmm.
The only times in our 3.5 year history we've promoted it, so to say, is sometimes when we do a giveaway.
Hmm.
We're able to have different things people have to do to get points. And we have a couple of times had join our group. But other than that, we haven't full on promoted it.
Right.
And it's because we want people to be there. We don't want people to be there to get a prize or, sometimes groups, people are like, add 20 people to this group and you'll get za 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 za. But we don't want just 20 people, random people.
Right.
We really genuinely want people who want to be there.
And who are interested in
We
the
don't
product, and not just winning something. Yeah.
we don't care how many people are in the
Hmm.
group. We care about the quality over the quantity 100%.
100%. Yeah. And I think that's going
Yeah.
to be our ongoing theme for everything throughout this
Yes.
conversation. Quantity is
Yeah.
always more important than the quantity. The vanity numbers are all nice and shiny and all that, but they don't really do anything to grow a business, really. So,
And I think, like, if you're watching this trying to like be like, well, I would like to start like a group for my business, I think a big piece of advice Stephanie and I have for you guys is like, don't go look at other groups and how many people they have,
mhm,
because the number doesn't mean much. Look at how interactive the group
yeah.
is and what's going on, and are you seeing the same 10 people be active? Are you seeing 100 different people be active? Because I think on social media in general, we get caught up in the number. Like,
Mhm.
oh, I have this many followers on Instagram, or oh my God, this company has 10 times more this. If there's nothing going on, it doesn't
Right.
matter. Like, period.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about doing this yourself, try to remove yourself from the attachment of the number of people, whatever it is. If it's Facebook group or you're on Instagram,
Yeah.
just try to like cut that out of your line of thinking or whatever.
When I'd say
Because
too, the larger the group, the more problems that are going to come with a larger group, as far as you're going to need to have additional people helping out as admins. The rules really need to be crystal clear, and you need to be quick and abrupt if someone's breaking a rule that you have, to take care of it immediately. So not to open up for interpretation. Oh, well, so and so did this, so I can do it too. And there's also just, when you have 20,000 people, like, think of it in your mind, 20,000 people in one room. There's a lot needing to be done to control the atmosphere, to control so that it doesn't chaotic. Like, our group is, I think, just shy of 6,000. We're in the 5,000 mark, somewhere around there. Um, and I feel like as we've grown, it's been at a good steady pace. And we definitely are able to foster the community without it, like, just running off on its own and just becoming something that we have no control over.
so do we talk about boundaries
I,
and rules
I think
and
that's,
why we pick them and trouble we've maybe have had in the
yeah,
past?
I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
And I feel like we could probably even get better at it, like, especially with the Like, we have a hard and fast rule. If you don't answer all of the questions to be added into the group, automatically you're not getting in the group. Just because we need to know that you,
And Stephanie, how often does it
a
happen that people
lot.
don't answer the question?
It happens a
You would be
lot.
a lot.
Or you only
Yes.
answer some of the questions and decide which ones you're going to answer and which ones you're not. If you don't answer all of the questions, and they're very basic, easy questions to answer,
Yes.
but if you're not going to, automatically that tells me that you don't fully read
Yes.
something or follow directions very well, and that might become a problem later on down the road, and then feelings get hurt because you get kicked out of a group and you're like, why did I get kicked out? And it's because you didn't follow directions. And if you don't from the get, that just tells me. So that's our first hard and fast rule when it comes to boundaries. I think we started right at the get-go. We knew, like, for our group, it's about community, it's about connection, it's about learning. It is not about selling. Like, flat out,
Yes.
we are a business. We have a group that is a part of our business. It is for our business, to be so blunt to say it, but it is for our business. And so the community that we wanted to build was not a selling platform or a self-promotion platform. It was a group to just help people grow and get connected and answer those questions, and also get different points of view, because as there are some like tried and true methods with working with the flowers, but there are so many other things that you can do. And it's just nice to either ask, has anybody tried this? Or, I tried this and this is the result I got. Have you gotten that same result before? And then you have a good group of people that can say, yeah, that happened to me, or no, but I did something a little bit different than you did, you know? So
Right.
it definitely, we're very aware in the group. We're very active in the group. We pay attention to the comments within the group. If you are cruel, if you are mean with the way that you are talking to somebody, we may delete that comment and talk to you about it, or we may just delete it and go on. And if we notice it becomes an issue, and it happens often, you're out. If we find that you have taken someone's pictures, even like something that may have been posted in the group, or maybe it wasn't posted in the group, but you took someone's pictures and then you posted them on your own business page or your own personal page or whatever, wherever we can find it, and are giving the impression that either you made it or you just took that picture and it was like, I can make something similar to this, that's a hard, fast, you're out of the group. Like, we have no tolerance for that, because you wouldn't want it to be done to yourself. So we're not going to allow people to do that within our group. And if we know that they're taking it, especially from our group, they're gone.
Yeah.
And then the last rule, I think, Maggie, is the self-promotion. If you cross that line, and that means if you post a picture that you've shared from, like, say, your business page, and you posted it, we're going to delete that post. And we may give you like, we'll talk to you, or we have this capability to say what rule was broken as to why the post was deleted. And our first rule is no promotion, no self-promotion. So we'll delete it and you'll get a note that it's been that. And then we can kind of see how many times we've had to delete somebody's posts. And if it becomes an issue, we'll either restrict that you can't post and we have to approve your post, or you're out. And it's that simple. So
And I kind of want to go down a little more of a rabbit hole on that one,
yeah.
because that's the one we've had the most issues with.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you're thinking about setting up a group for your own business, it's, if you want to have a successful group, it's not a set it up and leave it type situation.
No.
You unfortunately do have to babysit it.
And at the beginning, you have to, a lot of time needs to be spent in the group to make sure that people are starting to take the steps forward to post on their own and stuff.
I think for me personally, what has been the biggest inner struggle for me and this rule is the amount of people who don't respect it, get mad at us, literally get mad at us, I try to intentionally take advantage of the platform.
Or be very sneaky.
And for me,
or be very sneaky about the way they do it. Like tiptoeing the line of self-promotion of like, hey, DM me I'll give you some info.
Yes. And I think what people need to understand, and maybe they don't, is like I'm going to divulge something.
Hmm?
See, with the podcast, we're going to get a little more deep, guys. People need to understand we spend in the six figures every year on advertising. 6 figures on advertising. The people in the group, those are our people. It doesn't matter if it's word of mouth, if they came through an ad, if they came through another group, if they came through our newsletter, whatever it is, those are people we have collected. And for anybody to be in the group and think that they can sell stuff from their business, they can promote other businesses that sell the same stuff we do, that they can try to get people from our group to join their group. I'm saying these things because we've run into them many, 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 many times. It's very disrespectful, especially when we're super clear about our rules. Like, those are our people we've collected. If you want to go get 6,000 people or 20,000 people, you can spend 6 figures on advertising. You can do giveaway. You can do whatever you want. But for you to come in a group that's not set up to marketing or promoting other companies, and then you just do it, like, we see you and we don't like it, and it sucks.
Yeah.
And we really have no tolerance for it most times. I will say sometimes there's a slight gray area, but like, just know, like, we see it happening. We see it all. So don't think if we haven't said anything to you, you're getting away with something, because you're not. But it's just downright disrespectful.
Yep.
And I encourage you, if you have your own group, to stick to your guns. Kick people out, have conversations. Just know people are going to get mad. They're going to get upset. They're going to talk crap about you. But it really, in the long run, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Those aren't your people. You don't need those people.
Well, it's our group, so it's our rules. And if
right.
we all have, whatever time we want to spend, if we don't like the rules of the group, then you don't go in the group. Like, it's that simple. You can spend your time elsewhere. There's other groups that allow more things that are still niche to the solo wood flower. So if you want to be a part of those groups, that's fine. You can be in all of them. You can be in one of them, type thing. But if you don't like the way our setup is, then it's probably not the right group to be. And that's the same across the board for any Facebook group.
Yeah.
You don't like how they're running things. You are not being
then
forced
don't
to
be
there. No.
Yeah, then don't be there. And if you're caught breaking rules, don't get all butthurt and go talk trash.
Right.
Like, we're growing people. We're growing people here. And there's rules. And in life, anywhere you go, there's rules to follow.
Right.
Like, this is no different. So I think, just realize up front that, like, it's not sunshine and rainbows all the time. I would say maybe like 75% of the time it's sunshine and rainbows,
Yeah.
But it's the internet, and people do what they want on the internet. And just stand your ground, stick up for yourself, claim, what's yours and what you've built. And
I hate confrontation.
Jerks be.
I
hate it.
I hate it.
I so hate it.
And so it never fails. Like, when something happens, and we have to it's not easy for us. Like, we have hard and fast rules, but it's not easy. Like, we do not enjoy it. We don't like saying, sorry, Mean Girl reference, you can't sit with us. But it's one of those, we don't have many rules, and they're very simple. So if that's going to be the case, like, we don't have time for it. But unfortunately, then it does cause confrontation. And then we have to, Maggie and I text each other back and forth of what we're going to say and how we're going to say it.
Yep. So if you hear from us, it's coming from both of us. Just know that, because all hard stuff we cross with each other, like how we're going to deal with it.
I would say pretty much every conversation is, if it's just one person you're conversing with, you're actually talking to both of us at all times, because we're very much in touch and keep each other on top of what's going on in that kind of situation.
And for me, what I really want is never going to happen. But I really wish people would just realize, like, you know, we're women and mothers and wives, and we're trying to support our families and like just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just really shitty
Yeah. I mean,
to
because it's
do
still,
those
even
things.
without the advertising part of it, it's still so much time and effort and
Yes.
like day to day making sure we're nurturing that group to build it to what
Yeah.
we would like to see it be. And so then to just come in and cherry pick and be like, you've built this and I'm gonna hang out on the ride, but then I'm gonna take all of the benefits that you've put all of your sweat equity into. It's just not cool. It's not cool.
So there's tons of stories. People have done the craziest stuff, but I just want you guys to realize like how annoying and disrespectful it can be. We had a customer of one other thing, one other rule we also have we haven't talked about.
Oh,
If you sell the same thing
oh
we
yeah.
sell, you can't be in our group. I mean, that's just a no-brainer. Like what company, I know. So if you sell what we sell, you can't be in our group. Okay.
And if you
So
start
we
to sell
had
and we find out that you sell something, we'll also kick you out of the group. Like, and I mean, it's a small world, this flower world. So it's one of those we're all aware. Like, so to think
right.
that we're not aware and you just want to hang out and either use our group as your own source of marketing data or to try to promote yourself in a down low kind of low key way, just leave the group.
Just don't.
That's fine.
Just don't.
And we won't go in your group unless you want us there.
Right.
So, all right,
Maybe
tell
I
your
won't tell my
story. Tell your story.
Well, we had a longtime customer of ours start selling a similar product to what we were selling. And we liked her enough that we let it alone because it wasn't our core line. It was something else. I don't want to get too specific.
Right.
I don't want so-and-so to feel called out. But so we let it go because we liked her enough and she had been with us for a while. Well, her husband got in the group and started poaching our customers to go buy from his wife. So again, this is just one example, but this kind of shit happens. I cannot tell you how frequently we deal with that kind of stuff. So needless to say, they got kicked out of the group, butt hurt, didn't really. But you know what? Like, you're selling something we're selling. Why would we let you in the group?
Right.
That makes no sense.
What purpose
we,
you have in the group? You're not there to learn.
We're okay with competition, but you don't get to be in our group because that just doesn't make any sense. Why would we? Anyways, it's just this. I'll never understand that mentality of, oh, I'm going to get my husband in the group and then he's going to try to get people to buy from me. Like, no, you can't do that. It's not nice. It's not nice.
Yeah, you can't do it by proxy.
That's the kind of stuff. No.
So
it's disrespectful.
It is.
So anyways, moving on.
So there's all of the joys and the dramas of having a Facebook group. I'm going to grab my notes. Yeah, that was the biggest one. So the other things as far as like growing the community, I think a lot boils down to consistency. And this is more about like just in general social media posts and things like that. So our Facebook page has organically grown a very decent amount. We do also, though, we've talked about, we spend a decent budget on different types of advertising and things like that. But we also organically want to grow on our Facebook page, and we don't rely on Facebook ads to grow our reach, so to speak. So we are always posting. If you're part of our community, you definitely know that we're posting all the time, but we post, and you can start to like track it if you want. We post twice a day, every day. And except for like on holidays, we'll do like one post because nobody's on Facebook to chat about flowers. Unfortunately, they're like wanting to see the pictures of the kids and stuff. So, but for the most part, very consistent in everything that we do. Whenever we decide to really dive into another social media platform, we do the best we can to be as consistent as possible and be realistic with our goals as well, and increase them as we have more time to dedicate to those things. So that's really, I mean, it for the Facebook part of it. The Facebook business is just being consistent and posting stuff that's fun that you would enjoy interacting with yourself. So that was always the goal.
I'm gonna segue into the next part.
Sure.
Stephanie,
Yeah.
are all of our customers on Facebook?
No, less and less
Steph-
and less.
Stephanie, as a small business owner, should anybody put all their eggs in one social media basket?
Never, never, never. And you shouldn't be
No,
putting all of your
don't.
income in one basket either, in all honesty. And we'll talk about that probably maybe we'll talk about egg baskets or baskets at some point, because
Right.
we have a lot of them. It doesn't look like it probably to most people from the outside.
Right.
But we have a lot of baskets and it just makes sense. So yeah, no, not all of our customers are on Facebook. Actually, less and less are on Facebook now.
And she's saying that, and it's actually true. Like, we had an analysis done, like a really deep dive by a third-party company.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised if we showed you what it found.
It surprised us. So there's one where we already are like, we're not going there. Even if
we're not going to do that.
It doesn't make sense for us. Even if a lot of our customers might be there, it does not make sense in a business sense.
So if you're thinking about trying to start a community for your small business, another big, huge piece of advice: do not focus on just one social media platform.
Oh yeah, because anything can happen too at any point. Like, it goes down, there's a huge controversy, people are starting to leave that platform, and if you are not continuing to always grow or try to like kind of reach out in different ways to reach out to people, and we're in a very niche market, so it's one of those that you really do have to try lots of different areas of advertising and just marketing and brand awareness all across the internet. Now, we don't do a lot of traditional advertising or marketing anymore, but I don't know that many companies, except for the real big ones, are doing magazine, TV, or radio ads.
Right.
Like, we're primarily, actually, I would say 99.9% is online marketing.
Yes.
We every once in a while will do like an advertisement in like a specialty wedding type magazine or something like that. But for the most part, much more social media aspect of that.
And I think Steph, when people are setting up small businesses, I'm not sure they're really thinking about this side, because doing stuff on social media, like especially just brand awareness and trying to build community, doesn't just equal a dollar amount.
Right.
So, like if you're kind of just getting started, I encourage you to like not just think about the flowers and the stems and the pots and maybe the craft shows you're going to do, because there's a whole lot of other stuff that you don't have to. But if you are looking to scale to some extent, you got to really be thinking about these things, because in this day and age, like, you just have to have a presence.
Right.
You just do.
Social media in particular too helps to get people to the whole know, like, trust kind of thing. So they really get to know who are the people behind this business. Do they support these people? Do they, appreciate what they're doing? All of this other stuff. And that's a really great way for you to also get, like, some of my closest friends have been past customers or current customers who are now really good friends.
Right, exactly.
Like, I really they get to know you and you get to know them, depending on if you want to make those relationships or not. And it can be both on a one-on-one local base. Like, even if you don't want to ship your items or something, you can still grow those relationships with your neighbor down the street that you didn't even know lived down the street. Start a relationship that way just from social media, and then be able to really get to know your customers outside of the whole online realm. So, but it's definitely,
but still through the online realm,
exactly,
because that's what gets you right.
It gets you through that door. So there's definitely, and so I would say if you're just starting out, I know it can be overwhelming. Like, we definitely, our biggest focus was always on Facebook, and we're now slightly making a pivot, because we're definitely seeing that is no longer where a huge majority, but we still have we already have everything in place so that we're going to continue to do that. And now we can really focus our other energy and time onto other platforms that we posted on a regular basis, but not to the extent of what we've done over on Facebook. So for like Instagram, what I would suggest in that kind of realm is definitely video is becoming huge. Instagram Reels, I am seeing more reel post than like just a static image or things like that. So making more videos is definitely, I know it's hard. Maggie can attest to that, not wanting to do the videos. But it is something, like, you can figure out other ways where you don't have to be your face there all the time if you don't want it to be. But it is just a great way for people to get to know the business a little bit better, be entertained, enjoy their time interacting. I am pretty active on stories, and I definitely recommend trying to create additional connections with people in stories to get them to send you a message so that you can get to know them a little bit better, or you can answer a question that you didn't, maybe isn't as obvious of an answer as you thought it was somewhere on your website or things like that. So it's definitely all kinds of different data you can take as well to grow your business that way. Do we want to talk
How
about?
about Steph? Why don't we talk about that? Not everything always works.
Yeah. What do we want?
So
Which one? Which time?
Like Stephanie said, we have tons of buckets, and I'm gonna, for this discussion, we'll just talk about social media buckets.
Yeah.
But we, again, that don't put all your eggs in one bucket. I cannot stress enough that that's like a kind of a baseline of how we run our business. Like, we're not going to just count on this one form of revenue or this one place. So through like building our social media platforms and communities, we have tried some other things with very clear intentions. Like for our Facebook community, you know, we've really gone back and forth with, does wholesale need its own Facebook group? This whole time we've gone back and forth, and we've still at the conclusion of no, but we wanted there to be somewhere for wholesale people to come together. So we tried this other platform. What was it? What was Tribe? Was it?
Yeah.
It was a total flop. It absolutely did not work.
Yeah.
Period. It was a complete flop. Did we try?
Yeah.
Did we give it a good effort? Did we promote it in newsletters in our regular Facebook group? Yeah, we did. Yeah. But it didn't work. And you know what? That's okay, because other stuff did work. And just don't get discouraged. You know, put in an effort. Try your best. Have your intentions clear. But just know, not everything is always going to work.
Right.
And you have to be okay with that. You can't get like, oh my God, like I wasted my time, or that. You got to just move on.
Yeah. And figure out what the lessons are from that. Like, yes. And we're still not completely, like, we still feel that there's probably a place that we can connect better with our wholesale customers. We just haven't figured it out yet. Right. Or we're just not ready to dedicate the amount of time to nurture another group on the Facebook platform or things like that. Because those conversations that our wholesale customers have versus our retail customers have are very different conversations. And sometimes also need even a little additional privacy, as far as wholesale customers don't necessarily want to be talking to their customers about some of these like things they want to talk about. So that's why we had taken it to a completely different platform, was for that privacy aspect. But we found out that really, and we kind of had like, it was in the back of our minds, is this going to work? Are people going to actually want to add another platform, add another app, all of this stuff, you know, and focus on having to manually move themselves to a different place to have these conversations? Because at the time, and I know I keep saying Facebook, we're like pivoting, but still there's a lot of activity happening on Facebook. Right. Are you really going to want to take off that particular app to then focus your energy and time on somewhere else? So yeah, that did not work. And we gave it a really good effort. We definitely we didn't just say it's live and then 2 days later go, this isn't
Right.
working. We're not going to do it anymore.
Right.
Like we gave it a good length of time to go, yep, nope, that did not
It's
go
not
how we had hoped, but that's okay.
right.
And we'll
Yep.
figure out
And
something.
it is. It's a in general in business, you just can't get hung up on the things that don't work. You can be like, "Oh, that kind of sucks," but then you got to move on.
Yeah.
Like because not everything works,
Well, and
it's never going
no,
to.
and you don't learn if you don't fail. Like that's
Yes.
something I tell
Yeah.
my kids all the time. You're not going to get it perfect because if you do, what are you learning from it? Like you have to grow. You have to
Yeah.
learn, and it sucks not to like be excellent at something at the beginning, but geez Louise.
It's just life. That's
It's
just
just
how life
life.
works, you know? All right, so what else? You want to talk about YouTube,
Oh, sure. We can talk a
TikTok?
little bit about YouTube. I think the same thing. It's just consistency. And you need to know, like, on every single platform, when you're building a community on a platform, the audiences are different in every single platform. The content that you're giving might be different on every single platform. I've never saw the point of, like, say, I have a TikTok video and then I just copy it and put it on every single platform, kind of hoping that because what's on TikTok is what people are expecting to see on TikTok. It's not the same as the content they're going to see necessarily on Instagram. As things change, now video is changing things. So certain content is able to be like reused. But I typically like to reuse content differently. We can talk about that at a later date. I think that's probably a better conversation to really go deep dive into recontent or like repurposing content. Anywho, sorry, I got distracted and also went a different direction slightly. YouTube, let's bring it back because we're going to wrap this up. YouTube. We started our YouTube channel probably a year into the business. Like we had a couple videos just as like quick tutorials to send as links, but we didn't make the decision that we were going to commit to at least one video a week, every week. And the videos, the thing I found with YouTube is I don't have as nearly a close connection to the people who are commenting yet. Even now, like we get a lot of comments, but it's usually fly by the night, kind of someone's looking for something specific. They find our tutorial and then might ask a question in there, but they haven't yet really become somebody who's overly or not, I don't want to say overly, but is active in our community where I'm like, oh, I know that person. We can have a little banter back and forth. I'm not quite there yet in the relationship building part of that for YouTube. But I definitely make sure to answer comments as, as quickly as I can. Bring out as much of my personality as possible in the videos, things like that. So, but again, the whole rule, like consistency, slowly growing and always just doing it over and over and over again. And now we've committed to 2 videos a week, and we have systems in place to make sure that happens every week. So, it's a fun platform though. I'll say if you like doing videos, I definitely would suggest getting your face in there and going on YouTube. I guess
I want to really stress the consistency part too, because like even just in our industry, there's places we've been successful that other companies haven't, but we're the only ones consistently doing it. So there is a lot of value to consistency, even if you feel like, oh gosh, like my video only got 150 views last week, I don't feel like doing it again. You got to get that crap talk out of your head, because you stick to what your end goal is, commit for like extended period of time, and don't let yourself back out of it, because there is magic in that consistency.
Oh, for sure. The algorithms like it, like the platforms like it, so they're going to reward you as well because they know that you're going to be consistent. I do want to say this, and maybe this is how we're going to wrap up. We're not perfect. Like I still struggle, and I do most of the social media posting for the most part, but I struggle with Instagram, making sure that I'm doing it. Stories are not hard for me, but it's making sure I'm posting more than like twice a week on Instagram. I try to do at least 3 to 5 Do I get to the 5 on a regular basis? No, I'm still not there. But as like, again, I like videos. So as the videos have become more and more, it's definitely become more consistent. And then our newest platform is definitely TikTok besides the podcast. So we'll work on the consistency of the podcast, but the TikToks are definitely, the tickety-tocketies are not as easy for me. I think it's just because how fast paced that particular platform is. I feel like I need to be posting multiple times a day, and I'm posting everywhere else. So I have such a hard time doing that. So we're again on the same kind of basis of similar to Instagram. 3 to 5 a week is where our goal is. Do we get that every week? No, we don't. We also don't post we post on Facebook on the weekends, but everything else we don't really post on the weekends. And usually on the weekends, we have a little bit more fun with the posts. It's a lot more goofy stuff as well.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And again, we're not perfect or experts. Please don't think we're saying that. We're just talking from a place of we've done this in Oh You're Lovely for 3.5, 4-ish years.
Yeah.
These are our experiences with what we've done. Haven't been consulted by an outside company. Stephanie does a lot of research on the side. This is just what's worked for us.
Yeah.
So take it with a grain of salt, but
hopefully they learn.
We're Oh You're Lovely. This is what we've done. This is how we've gotten where we are with our stuff. And some of it is opinion, like you can care about your number of followers. We just don't.
Yeah.
Like,
I think we did it first just because you want to like have, a little bit of oomph behind it. But now we're at a point where there's certain numbers that I'd like to reach just because it's fun, but that's no longer the main focus. The main focus is to be producing, like having content that's enjoyable for people and to also, again, build the community. And it's this weird line between like what we've been talking about. Some of it's more on the marketing side, but it crosses over into because we want to focus on community, it actually builds community at the same time. So partially it's for marketing purposes. Other parts is for building that community. So it all kind of flows together, if you will. Well, I think that is that it?
Can you guys email us with topics you want us to talk about or like questions? I would really love it too. We do have a list of stuff we're going to go through, but really we're doing this for you guys. So we want to talk about what you want us to talk about.
Yeah. And I think we've had a couple, depending on how you're listening or watching, we have it on all of the different streaming arenas or whatever, wherever you listen to podcasts. Hopefully you can find the Oh You're Lovely podcast that way. You can also send us a message and be like, hey, I stream here. Are you on there? And if we are, I'll give you the link to it. There's a few that we are not on, but all of the major ones, we should be able to be found. And then we also put the video up. Hi, we're on camera too. Videos up over on YouTube. So we do have a couple of questions already on YouTube. So I'm going to be pulling them from the YouTube comments as well. So we'll probably do a full episode of answering those questions. But yeah, email us at podcast@ohyourlovely.com with any of your questions, topics that you'd like us to go over. I got to write down. We're going to talk about repurposing content. And what was the other one? There was another one we were going to deep dive into.
Gosh, I don't know.
See, this is why I'm going to have to re-listen to this. So send those our way. That would be lovely. You can find us all over the place, as we just talked about. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And if you're
not Snapchat.
Sorry, y'all.
Okay, sorry.
If you like Snapchat,
we're not there. And we're not going to be.
I've run out of room with the things I could do. So no Snapchat, but everywhere else. And we don't do Twitter either. There's not a lot of Twitter. But if you take a look at that, or if you don't even want to listen to us anymore, that's fine. You can just go to our website, ohyourlovely.com. That would be lovely too. We'd love that. So, all right, you guys, I think that's
Okay.
it for this particular podcast. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with another one.
Yeah.
I'm Stephanie from Oh You're Lovely. Nat.
I'm Maggie.
There's Maggie. All right, you guys, have a great day. We'll see you and
Thank you.
talk to you super soon. All right, bye.
Bye.